Do you see him anywhere? No, I don't see him anywhere. There he is, there he is. God, he's majestic. His face looks like it's been chiseled out of the finest rock. Oh, I want to be his friend so bad, Dusty. I want to be his friend so bad. Hey there, Dusty. What's going on? Audience, good to see you. That was my terrible recreation of the start of the airport scene from this very funny Christmas movie. I don't have the voice to do a Mel Gibson impression right now. It's going to be kind of low key this episode. I'm feeling fine. It just, my allergies are really kicking into full gear here. I've got a bit of a cold right now. But hello everyone, welcome back to Home Media Reviews. This review is on Daddy's Home 2. I kind of already spoiled this last week, but I do in fact think that Daddy's Home 2 is better than the first movie. Is it a better movie? We'll talk about that. Is it funnier? We'll talk about that. But I definitely like it more than the first one. There's definitely way more memorable scenes in this film. But let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into the history section of Daddy's Home 2. Alright, so this movie hit theaters on November 10th, 2017. Unlike with the first Daddy's Home, me and my family were in theaters the first week of this release. We were so excited to watch this sequel. Maybe that's overselling it. Maybe not so excited. We all liked that first movie fine enough. Why not whet our Christmas appetites with a Christmas movie just before Thanksgiving? That'll be fun. And I gotta say, my family definitely likes this movie more than the first one. They were cracking up throughout this entire movie. And so was I, right along with them. We had a great theater experience watching this movie. So just like with last week, I have some numbers here for you. These might shock you, just like last week. So, on a budget of $70 million, this movie made $180 million. So a little bit below the return on investment last week, but still a hefty profit. Again, over $100 million in just profit there. Although, when you double the budget, because that's what you have to do when you're accounting for your marketing costs, you get $140 million. You only made $40 million on top of that. It gets confusing. Hollywood accounting is a bit difficult, but this movie didn't make as much as the first movie did, which is surprising because that first movie did so well at the box office. You'd think so many people liked it. Why wouldn't they come back to watch the sequel? Maybe it's because you made kind of a painfully average comedy film and not many people remembered it 2 years later. So of course, on February 20th, 2018, I got my ass over to Walmart to pick up Daddy's Home 2 on physical media. This hit on Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K, for God's sake. Oh, man. I still cannot believe that this has a 4K release. Just like the first film, I cannot fathom that. You know, here's a little side note. I was in Best Buy not 2 days ago browsing their Black Friday deals, and I found copies of Daddy's Home 2 on 4K. Now, they were $20 a piece. They weren't on sale. I didn't pick one up, but you can still find this on store shelves on 4K. They also didn't have slipcovers, which also turned me off a bit, but the fact that it was still there is amazing to me. You know what? I may actually, in the next couple of days, go back and see if they're still there, and if they are, I just might grab a copy, just to be funny. There was an exclusive variant of Daddy's Home 2. It was a Target exclusive. Remember back when Target had exclusive releases of movies? Yeah, before they decided to downsize their physical media section to where it's only one aisle and one end cap now? Don't get me started on that. Just don't even. However, this Target exclusive was actually pretty good. It came with a bonus disc, like a physical bonus disc, like The Last Jedi did, like Rise of Skywalker did, Like, it had a physical disc in there. I'm not sure what was on it, maybe a couple other featurettes, but the fact that it's a completely separate disc, that's amazing. Oh, it also came with a digital copy of the first Daddy's Home. The studio is just assuming you haven't seen that yet, so they're just giving it to you for free. Oh, and before we move on, you remember that Blu-ray 2-pack that we talked about last week? Yeah, that came out on this day as well. Originally, that was it. But on October 15, 2019, Daddy's Home 2 made its triumphant return to store shelves in a multi-pack on DVD, no less. This is the Holiday Laughs 4 movie collection. This included Office Christmas Party, Surviving Christmas, Trading Places, and Daddy's Home 2. Office Christmas Party I've never seen. I've heard decent things about it. Surviving Christmas I've never heard of. Trading Places, that's one of the great comedies from the 80s. You should definitely check that one out with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. It's up there with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That comedy is so good. But that is it. That's it for Daddy's Home 2. It apparently has some copies languishing on my store shelves over at Best Buy, so if you live in the Louisville, Kentucky area, get your ass over to Best Buy and grab those copies before Best Buy chucks them in the bin, like they're going to do with all their other physical media come 2024. So that wraps up your history section. Let's move right along to the close-up. Alrighty, everyone, here's your close-up look at Daddy's Home 2. We have a bar up here at the top, Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital, our main cast listed there, the film's logo, tagline, more daddies, more mayhem, and then below that we have Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, and John Lithgow sitting on a couch there. I like the poster. It's nice, it's fun, it's inviting. Could be more dynamic, I guess, but as it stands, it's alright. The spine is the Paramount logo. There's Will Ferrell and John Lithgow. Film's logo, Gibson and Wahlberg, all of which are taken from the front. 2-disc set. The back features screenshots from the film. A hole in the slipcover for your barcode to peek out. You got a breakdown of the movie, or a blurb as I call it. Special features, more screenshots, breakdown of how your digital HD works, and then legalese stuff down at the bottom. Take your slipcover off there. Artwork is the same. Spine's the same. The back just gets rid of a bunch of the screenshots from the film to make room for the cast and crew information down there at the bottom. And we open this up. Just like last week, Paramount discs, no artwork. Paramount Gray for your DVD, and Paramount Blue for your Blu-ray. But that wraps up your close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your menu tour for Daddy's Home 2. Starting off with the DVD. It's a similar menu to the first film, except now we have the rest of the cast here, including newcomers John Lithgow and Mel Gibson here, but it is similar to the first film's menu. We have play, setup, scene selection, and previews. For setup, we have a English 5.1 mix, French and Spanish mixes, as well as a audio description English mix. And then for subtitles, English, French, and Spanish. Scene selection, we have a couple more scenes. I love that that's the screenshot for the second scene in the movie is Will Ferrell making out with John Lithgow. That's, oh man, that's great. But we have a similar number of scenes as the first movie. It's over 11 now. It's up to, what, 14, I think? Yeah. 13 if you don't count the credits there, but 2 extra scenes for a movie that I don't think runs longer than the first one. If anything, I think it runs about the same amount. Hang on, let me check this. First movie runs 95 minutes, okay. Second movie runs 99 minutes, okay, no. Daddy's Home 2 is about 4 minutes longer than the first one, so my bad. I just remember these being relatively short. And now it's time for the Blu-ray. Again, a very similar menu to the DVD. In fact, the exact same picture is used between them, but now we have a new option. Extras. We'll save that for last, though. Settings, we have a Dolby Atmos mix on a Blu-ray. Daddy's Home 2 gets a Dolby Atmos mix. Okay. That's cool. We have a English audio description mix. Spanish 5.1. Oh, we have two different versions of Spanish. We have Spain Spanish, I guess, and then Latin American Spanish. Maybe it's native Spanish and then Latin American Spanish. We have French and Portuguese. That's cool, though. You got two different versions of Spanish there. For subtitles, we have English, English for the hearing impaired, two different versions of Spanish, French, and Portuguese. And for scenes, no surprise here, it's the exact same number as on the DVD. Same screenshots and everything. Now here's the part that I like. The extras tab. Not as many extras as on the first Daddy's Home, but at least we're still getting something. We have making a sequel, Look Who's Back, co-dads Will and Mark, the new dads Mel and John, Captain Sully, because he makes a cameo at the end of this movie for some weird reason, deleted, extended and alternate scenes, and a gag reel. Again, not as many as on the first film, but I am happy with that selection. At least we got some stuff on here. It'd be way worse if it was just like, oh, here's making a sequel, and then that's it. That'd be an insult, I'm gonna be honest with you. So that wraps up your menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? I reiterate my previous statement. If you live in Louisville, Kentucky, head on over to Best Buy, because you'll find copies of the 4K sitting on store shelves. Your best bet, though, is going to be online retailers, though, places like Amazon or eBay. It's a pretty safe bet if you walk into your own Walmart or Target or Best Buy, you probably won't find a copy of this on the store shelf. Hell, if you go in 2024, you won't find anything on Best Buy store shelves. God, I still cannot believe that is happening. That is reality. In 2024, Best Buy will no longer be selling physical media. That is just... what? I'm sorry, I have to go on a little rant here for just 1 minute. Best Buy, the undisputed kings of physical media for years at this point, decades even, is dumping that entire department out of its stores. Now, I get it, okay? I understand why they're doing it from a business perspective. Physical media probably doesn't make that much money for them. That's the unfortunate reality, is physical media isn't selling as much as it used to, and it probably isn't making as much for them. So, in order to save money, they're going to dump it. Okay, it makes sense from a business perspective, but from a consumer perspective, for the Joe Schmo who walks in there every couple of days and buys a movie off of their very small movie racks now, what's that guy going to do? What about all the collectors out there who love steelbooks and love Best Buy exclusive releases? Are we just shit out of luck now? Collecting physical media, of course, is a very niche thing, so obviously they don't care what us collectors think about it, but I'm just asking questions here, like, what's going to happen to those releases? And I said this on Twitter a few days ago from the time that I'm recording the segment for the video. Best Buy was always the champions of Black Friday whenever it came to movies. I'd say probably Walmart was a close number 2 there, but Best Buy, they always had the most stock, the best deals, and slipcovers on the majority of their movies. Hell, even this year I went in to check out some of their early Black Friday deals. They still had great prices for movies. I got Barbie on Blu-ray for $10, Transformers Rise of the Beast on 4K for $9. Both of those movies are relatively new releases. They weren't on Best Buy store shelves because they were selling at those prices. I had to waltz over to Target to find those deals. The Flash on Blu-ray for $10. Shazam 2 on 4K for $10. Best Buy still had some of the best 4K and Blu-ray deals that I had ever seen in a Black Friday. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Barbie on Blu-ray just came out not 2 weeks ago, and it's already down to $10. I think it's stupid that they didn't put the 4K on sale, or else I would have bought that, but that's crazy. Transformers is another relatively newer release. It came out, what, a month ago, and the 4K is down to $10? That's insane! Those deals aren't Best Buy exclusive, though. Like I said, I went to Target afterward and grabbed those two movies for those exact same prices, but the fact that they were sold out at Best Buy tells me that people are still going into Best Buy to find movies at great deals. And Best Buy's just saying, nah, we're done with that. Throw it into the recycling bin. I'm trying really hard not to sound like just the spoiled brat who's like, I want to have movies at Best Buy. I mean, I do want to have movies at Best Buy, but I don't run that company. I can't make the decisions for them. The only thing that I can do is comment on their stupid decisions that make sense from a monetary perspective and will probably increase their longevity for maybe 6 months, a year at most. But we all know what Best Buy's fate is. And that sucks because as convenient as online shopping is, there is something to say about going into a store, not knowing what you want, walking into the movie aisle and finding a title that you may not have heard was coming out. Maybe something catches your eye. Oh, hey, that's a movie I've never seen. Let me read the back cover of it. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I'm gonna buy it. There's something about that primordial hunter-gatherer spirit that we as humans just crave incessantly. Yeah, it's part of human nature to want to go out there and, for lack of a better term, hunt for things. It's why God made us the dominant species on this planet. We have more of a drive to hunt for things. We may think that we're more sophisticated, but we all have that drive. Gosh, I don't know when the HMR on Daddy's Home 2 morphed into a discussion on human philosophy and why we all need to go out and hunt for things, but here we are. What was the question we were on again? Oh, yeah, it was number 1. Amazon. I just went on this whole spiel about how we need to go out and hunt for things. It's in our blood. It's literally written into our genetic codes. Yeah, find Daddy's Home 2 on Amazon. Because there's no other place for you to find it. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? Gotta say no on that one. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Ooh, this is a question that I can confidently say yes to. And here's why. I am a sucker for Christmas schmaltz. What I mean by that is I love the vibe of Christmas movies. Are they cheesy as hell? Absolutely. But I love it. Daddy's Home 2 has plenty of Christmas schmaltz. As a matter of fact, it ends with one of the most schmaltziest scenes I've ever seen in a movie before. And I love it. You'll be hard-pressed to put a Christmas movie in front of me, make me watch it, and for me to say, yeah, that really wasn't my thing. No, I'm a sucker for Christmas movies. It is a guilty pleasure genre of mine. I love Christmas movies. I'm not normally a very schmaltzy person, or an emotional person for that matter, but when those sleigh bells start jingling and whoever comes home for the holidays, it gets me, man. It gets me. Except for Hallmark Christmas movies, okay? Those things, I can't stand those. I know I just said, ooh, I love Christmas schmaltz. Those are all just schmaltz. They follow the exact same plot for each and every film. Those I cannot stand. So I do have some standards when it comes to some Christmas films, but Christmas films like Daddy's Home 2, hell, if it's got an entertaining plot, great leads, and really funny jokes, yeah, I'm here for it, and Daddy's Home 2 has all those things. The main cast in this movie is still phenomenal, and just like last week, Mark Wahlberg is giving the best performance. He and Will Ferrell's charisma and repartee is unmatched, and I love how they act off one another. The opening scene in this movie where it shows that Wahlberg and Ferrell have this dynamic co-dad situation all figured out is immensely entertaining. And seeing Will Ferrell get kicked in the head by a child, yeah, that's funny. I didn't mention this last week, but there was a joke in the first Daddy's Home that hit very close to home for me. It was the carpool scene where the lady in that stupid safety vest is out there yelling at everyone, "Come on, keep it in the cones, like an ice cream cone, let's go!" That took me back to like elementary school when those safety patrol officers were yelling at cars to keep it inside of the cones. I laugh so hard at that joke every single time, and I love that it makes a comeback here, and now Mark Wahlberg's the one wearing the safety vest. "Hey, you honk that horn again, you better count your teeth." It's not just Wahlberg and Ferrell that return. Linda Cardellini is back, and she actually has something to do in this movie, unlike the first one. She has a small arc in conflict with Wahlberg's new wife, Karen, who looks nothing like a Karen. She wants to be just as cool and badass as her, and she actually goes through a bit of an emotional crisis in the movie because she thinks that Karen is just perfect and she's messing everything up. I'm giving it more credence than the movie actually does. There's not really a lot of focus placed on it. It's really only one scene where Karen shoplifts, but at least they tried to give her something more to do here. And again, that schmaltz at the end when she reads the notes about herself and sees that Karen is basing a character off of her, it's a fine payoff. The kids are great. Again, Megan gets all the great lines, though. The best one is after she drinks the eggnog that's got rum in it, and she just yells out, "Pancakes, bitches!" Yes, it's extremely one note to be like, "Oh, look, a kid said a curse word." It's funny. Come on. Get the stick out of your ass already. It's funny. "Give me the keys, Brad." "Hi, I just shot a turkey and a man. Guess which one's dead?" Dylan also has some pretty good scenes here, too. He has a character arc about liking girls and not kissing his stepsister, which is very weird when you think about it. I think his standout scene is the bowling alley, when he bowls almost a perfect zero. However, the newcomers in this are Mel Gibson and John Lithgow. Holy crap, were these great choices to play Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg's dads. Mel Gibson's dry wit and sarcasm throughout this entire movie just, oh my gosh, it's perfect. Next to Wahlberg, he is the best actor in this movie. And you can tell he is having a blast with this character. Oh yeah, that gets pickled, all right. All right, you will hold down the fort here. I gotta go drain the lizard. I laugh every time he slaps Mark Wahlberg's shoulder and scoffs at anything that Will Ferrell says throughout the entire movie. He just has some of the best lines in the entire film. When he takes off John Lithgow's shoe and it's disgusting, and he goes, "Hey Don, I don't think I'm going to be able to save the foot." Oh, John Lithgow too, man. This guy was the perfect choice to play Will Ferrell's dad. That scene in the airport where he comes walking down, he smiles at the old dude that's going up the escalator, and he and Will Ferrell suck face for like a minute. It's cringe comedy, but it's cringe comedy at its finest. "I know it's only been since Thanksgiving, but it feels like it's been forever." Say, Kurt, how many new people did you meet on your flight? I always like to meet as many people and talk to as many people as I can. I met a scotch and a pillow. I can't remember what the line exactly is that Lithgow says to Gibson, but it ends with Gibson saying, "I'd rather look into a loaded gun." Bottom line, the family dynamic throughout this entire film is amazing. I love it. It's so funny. The scene when they all wake up in the middle of the night because Adriana has been messing with the thermostat. "Oh, what's going on out here? Someone messed with the thermostat." "What? Who would do such a thing?" "Did you touch the thermostat?" "No, did someone else touch it? It's 85 degrees in here." 85? Do you have any idea how much of a difference only a few degrees can impact the gas bill? There are some emotional stakes here. For one thing, the perfect relationship with Ferrell and Wahlberg is challenged by Gibson. It comes to a head when they're all at the manger and they have the quote-unquote snowball fight where pretty much all that happens is John Lithgow gets hit in the face. But that plot is explored decently well. There's also the plot of, well, I guess not plot, the storyline of Will Ferrell's parents are getting a divorce and his dad doesn't want to tell him. That plot's handled all right as well. All of the emotional storylines, they get as much time as they need to develop naturally, and then later on, they're given somewhat decent payoffs. The plot, though, does come second to a lot of the jokes and the sort of vignette-style scenes that are here throughout this movie. And when it comes to the jokes, yeah, this movie nails pretty much all of its jokes. I laugh at about 90% of the jokes here. Maybe not like a laugh out loud, but a chuckle here and there. A lot of them are laugh out loud, though. But when it comes to the story, it's definitely not as good as the first movie's story. Whereas forgettable as that story was, this one is could have been trimmed down a little bit. I'd say you didn't really need a lot of all of these branching storylines. What with Wahlberg and his dad, Farrell and his dad, the kids, it all comes together somewhat naturally at the end, and I do feel satisfied by it. But you could have cut maybe one or two storylines out and made this a bit more streamlined. I didn't mention him last week, but John Cena is also here. He made a brief cameo in the first film. He has more of a role here, and he's very funny, just like the rest of this cast. When Will Ferrell starts singing, "It's Christmas time." Oh, damn, it's my favorite song of all time. Roger, I think you know what happens next. Yeah, I do know what happens next. And there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time. I said earlier this has a very schmaltzy ending. It does. It ends in a movie theater. It's very meta about how, like, we come to the movies and we don't ever talk to anybody. It gives off very much that... Do you guys know that ad at AMC that has Nicole Kidman and she's walking through the AMC theater and she's like, "We come to this place for magic.
And we go somewhere we've never been before."
It's been parodied and talked about to death in movie circles, but this gives off that ad vibes, that AMC ad vibes. It just, it's very schmaltzy, but I can forgive it because I love Christmas schmaltz. Daddy's Home 2 is not a perfect movie. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even say it's a great movie. It might not even be a good movie. But damn, do I love it. It's become a revolving holiday classic in my household. My parents love watching it every year. Hope loves it. This was her second year seeing it, and she thought it was just amazing. This movie is like the definition of every single Christmas movie cliche that's out there, but with great performances from the main cast. Some absolutely hilarious jokes that are not very sophisticated, but they make you laugh. At least they made me laugh, and anyone who's not a heartless heathen would laugh at these. A breezy runtime, and some pretty satisfactory storylines. Yeah, I recommend Daddy's Home 2, absolutely. I wouldn't say this movie's better than the first one. Again, its storylines can get a bit convoluted, and they don't exactly focus on each one as much as they would need to. But man, is it entertaining, and I definitely like it more than the first one. It's not a better movie, but I love it a hell of a lot more than that first one. It's definitely more memorable than the first one. I mean, just the line, "You can suck a fart, Dusty, a big, wet, nasty fart," should be enough to tell you to watch this movie. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Well, same answers as number 1. Number 5, what price should you pay? Well, the 4K, like I said, is on store shelves for $20 right now, at least in my area. I'd say that's about how much it's worth, maybe $15 on the lower end. This 4K was produced way more than the first film's 4K, making it easier to find on places like the secondary market. So, yeah, I'd say about $15, $20 for the 4K. The Blu-ray, though, was really easy to find. Pick it up on eBay for like $5, $10. DVD, I'd say same price for that. Well, folks, that wraps up your home media review for Daddy's Home 2, a movie that is not very good, but whew, is it fun as hell to watch. And I would say it's probably one of my ultimate guilty pleasure films. A lot of my guilty pleasure films are Christmas movies, but this one is probably maybe at the top of my list for guilty pleasures. Man, I can't get enough of this movie. It's so funny to me. Well, I shouldn't have to tell you all what we're covering next week, but some of you may not have watched the update that came out a few weeks ago, so I'm going to tell you all. Next week is a rare thing in home media reviews. You're getting 2 videos next week. You're getting a supplemental on Frosty the Snowman on VHS at around noon, and then at around 4 to 4:15, you're getting the next installment of home media reviews where we're taking a look at Frosty Returns. I have not seen this television special since I was a kid. I've heard not great things about it. I watched it a lot when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it when I was a kid. I am not a kid anymore. I'm 24 years old. So let's see what a young adult thinks about Frosty Returns. I'm going to go into it with an open mind, but I haven't heard the best things about it. I just remember that Frosty is voiced by John Goodman for some weird reason. It's going to be weird to get used to. Sully is going to be voicing Frosty the Snowman. Oh, man. All right. Well, that wraps up things here for me. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you guys are psyched for double uploads again. Not like we didn't just have one on Thanksgiving. Did you guys get tricked by that, by the way? I didn't tell anyone that I was doing that supplemental. I wanted it to be just a wonderful surprise for you all, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. But next week, double uploads again. Yippee! Thank you guys so very much for watching. I will see you all next week. Good night, everybody.